Namaste. Welcome to Samskriti. In the Adhyatma Ramayana series, we are now in Sarga 3 of Aranyakandam. Rama, along with Sutikshna, Sita and Lakshmana, reached the ashrama of Agni Jihva, who was a younger brother of sage Agastya. He gave them all a very warm reception and offered them refreshments of roots and fruits. The next day, as soon as they got up, they started for Agastya's ashrama. That hermitage was noted for the presence of fruits and flowers of all seasons and was inhabited by animals of various species, and the atmosphere was filled with sweet warblings of many kinds of birds. It resembled Nandana, the garden of heaven. It was served by many Brahma Rishis, Deva Rishis, and resident ascetics. In short, it was like another Brahmaloka. Stopping outside the presence of that ashrama, Rama told Sutikshna to go and inform sage Agastya about their arrival. Saying that he would do so with great pleasure, Sutikshna entered his guru's place. There he saw the most exalted sage Agastya sitting surrounded by a cluster of sages, especially those devoted to Sri Rama, and he was explaining or rather expounding the meaning and various connotations of the Rama mantra. Sutikshna showed his respects to his guru by prostrating like a stick before him and told his guru that Dasharatha Nandana Sri Rama, accompanied by Sita and Lakshmana, has arrived to meet him. Agastya hastened to meet Rama, saying that he had been meditating on Rama, who forever dwells in his heart, and had been aspiring to have his darshana. Sage Agastya welcomed Rama most reverentially and devotedly, blessing him with all auspiciousness. That day was the most rewarding and fulfilling day for them, as they had the good fortune and privilege of having Rama as the guest of honor. When Sri Rama saw the sage coming towards them, he too paid his obeisances to the sage. Then the king among sages, Munirad, lifted Sri Rama and embraced him affectionately and devotionally. The bliss that he derived by the touch with the divine body of Rama expressed itself as tears of joy and exhilaration. Holding Rama's hand with his own, sage Agastya then escorted him most cheerfully to his hermitage. Seating Sri Rama on a mat, the sage worshipped him duly with all the established rituals and fed him with several seasonal fruits of the forest. When Rama was seated alone, looking like the moon, Bhagavan Rishi Agastya spoke to him with folded hands. He told Rama that since the time when Brahma had prayed to him on the shores of Ksheera to relieve the earth of her burden by slaying Ravana, he, Agastya, had been waiting in expectation of Rama's arrival, all the time staying there with the ascetics of that place, doing tapas with a desire to have the holy darshan of Rama. Before the cycle of creation started, he, that is Rama alone, existed without an alternative. Maya, which is spoken as his potency, relies on him, is sustained by him, and was latent in his self, with all the manifoldness and adjunct potential in it. When that energy, on being assumed by him, manifests itself, the savants of Vedanta call it Avyakrita, the unmanifested whole. Some others call it Moola Prakriti, the essential nature. Others call it Maya, the mysterious power. It is also known as Avidya, ignorance or lack of truthful knowledge, and Samsriti, or transmigratory circle of birth and death. Some others call it by the name of Bandha, or bondage. Under his prompting, Maya manifests the Mahat Tattva, or the great element. Out of the Mahat Tattva, under his stimulation, Ahankara, that is the cosmic I sense, evolves. This Ahankara manifests itself in three aspects: Satvika, Rajasika, and Tamasika aspects. Out of the Ahankara dominated by Tamas emerged the five subtle perceptions of sound, touch, sight, taste, and smell. And out of them, in due course of time, evolved the gross elements, that is Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Jala, and Bhumi. Now, out of the second quality of Rajas emerged the 10 sense organs, and from the Satvika Ahankara, the Devatas, or the patron gods of these sense organs, and also the Manas, or the mind-intellect-heart complex. With a combination of all these evolutes was formed the universal causal body, Linga, holding within it the whole potentiality of the universe. It is also called Sutratma or the Hiranyagarbha or the luminous potentiality. From this Hiranyagarbha manifested the Virat or the macrocosmic gross body. Out of this Virat Purusha emerged this whole myriad animate and inanimate creation. In course of time, according to the manifestation of karma potentialities, it is he who has revealed himself in different yonis or forms of gods, animals, winged creatures, humans, etc. Assuming the constituent of Rajas, he himself became the creator Brahma. He became Vishnu, the sustainer, by the sattvic quality, and the annihilator Rudra, assuming the tamasic quality. By virtue of Buddhi's three qualities, that is Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, there are three states of consciousness, that is Jagrat, waking state, Swapna, dream state, and Sushupti, deep sleep state. Sage Agastya goes on to say that Rama is that pure consciousness, changeless and transcendent, distinct from the Buddhi and its mode of three states, standing as their witness. When he wishes to create and expand that creation, he instructs Maya and appears as one endowed with the three gunas. This Maya has two aspects, Vidya, the spiritual illumination, and Avidya, or the lack of true knowledge. Those who follow the path of indulgence and attachments are under the spell of Avidya, while those who are given to the reflection on the purport of Vedanta, who follow the path of deliverance, detachment and renunciation, are steeped in devotion, are understood to be empowered by Vidya. Again, those who are yoked to Avidya are ever consigned to the transmigratory cycle of birth and death, while those who have acquired Vidya are the ones who obtain eternal liberation once and for all. In this world, Vidya shines in those who are steadfast in devotion and ever repeat his sacred name and reflect on it, but there is no scope of obtaining salvation for those without bhakti. Sage Agastya places before Rama the essential requirements of devotional life. Company of holy men, that is sadhus, is the main means for attainment of moksha. Sadhus are even-minded towards all, friends or foes, samachittaha. They are free from desires, nisprihaha, and they have abandoned the desire for children, wealth, and heavenly enjoyment. Vigataishinaha. They have restraint over sense organs and their gratification. Dantaha. They have placidity of mind arising from self-mastery. Prashantaha. They have sincere devotion. Tvad-bhaktaha. And they are devoid of all greed, avarice and ambitions. Nivritthakhila kamanaha. They are even-keeled, having equanimity of mind in success and failure. Ishta prapti vipattayoscha samaha. They are without encumbrances and attachments of any kind. Sangha vivarjitaha. They abandon all evil deeds and selfish actions. That is, they act without a sense of doership. Sanyasthakila karmanaha. They have an abiding interest in contemplation of Brahman. Sarvada Brahma Tatparaha. They practice Yama and other disciplines of yoga. Yamadi Guna Sampannaha. And they are content and satisfied with whatever means of livelihood that comes their way without seeking. Santushtaha Yena Kenachit. These are verses 37 to 39 which describe the qualities and characteristics of a true sadhu. Sage Agastya further says that communion with such sadhus gives rise to endearment and interest in divine stories. When such delight is established in the mind, loving devotion to God, bhakti, is generated. Devotion gives rise to clear and comprehensive realization of the divine. This is the royal road to mukti, emancipation and salvation, which is adopted by men of sound discernment. Therefore, Agastya pleads with Rama to bless him that he may ever have bhakti characterized by intense love and affection, and that he may ever have contact with Rama's devotees. Sage Agastya felt privileged that his life's purpose had been attained by this meeting with Rama. All the Vedic rituals that he had practiced had come to their fruition, and the physical worship that he did was an evident reward for all the tapas that he had done for a long time. He prayed that Rama should dwell with Sita in his heart forever, and he should always remember Rama even while going about his daily routine. After having done this stuti in praise of Ramanatha, Sage Agastya, the Muni Sattama, presented to him a divine bow which Indra had entrusted him for the purpose of being handed over to Rama. Sage Agastya also gave 2 quivers full of arrows which were magically endowed by a never-ending supply of divine arrows, and also a gem-studded sword. He then told that these could be used for destroying the tribe of Rakshasas who had become a burden to the earth, as it is for this purpose that Rama had incarnated in a human form. Sage Agastya then informs about an ashrama named Panchavati at a distance of about 2 yojanas from there, surrounded by a pristine and verdant forest on the banks of river Gautami. He told them that they can spend the rest of their forest life in that place and accomplish many objectives for the benefit of the Devas. Then the all-knowing and all-powerful Lord, having heard the meaningful stotra of Agastya, went in the direction shown by the sage. Moving on with the chanting now. Tritiyah sargah अथ रामः सुतीक्ष्णेन जानक्या लक्ष्मणेन च अगस्त्यस्यानुजस्थानं मध्याह्ने समपद्यत तेन सम्पूजितः सम्यक् भुक्त्वा मूलफलादिकं परेद्युः प्रातरुत्थाय जग्मुस्ते गस्त्यमण्डलम् सर्वर्तुफलपुष्पाढ्यं नानामृगगणैर्युतं पक्षिसङ्घैश्च विविधैः नादितं नन्दनोपमम् ब्रह्मर्षिभिर्देवर्षिभिः सेवितं मुनिमन्दिरैः सर्वतोऽलङ्कृतं साक्षात् ब्रह्मलोकमिवापरम् बहिरेवाश्रमस्याथ स्थित्वा रामो ब्रवीन्मुनिं सुतीक्ष्ण गच्छत्वं शीघ्रम् आगतं मां निवेदय अगस्त्यमुनिवर्याय सीतया लक्ष्मणेन च महाप्रसाद इत्युक्त्वा सुतीक्ष्णः प्रययौ गुरोः आश्रमं त्वरया तत्र ऋषिसङ्गसमावृतम् उपविष्टं रामभक्तैः विशेषेण समायुतं व्याख्यातराममन्त्रार्थं शिष्येभ्यश्चातिभक्तितः दृष्ट्वागस्त्यं मुनिश्रेष्ठं सुतीक्ष्णः प्रययौ मुनेः दण्डवत्प्रणिपत्याः विनयावनतः सुधीः रामो दाशरथिर्ब्रह्मन् सीतया लक्ष्मणेन च आगतो दर्शनार्थन्ते बहिस्तिष्ठति साञ्जलिः अगस्त्य उवाच शीघ्रमानय भद्रन्ते रामं महहृदि स्थितं तमेव ध्यायमानोऽहं काङ्क्षमाणोऽत्र संस्थितः इत्युक्त्वा स्वयमुत्थाय मुनिभिः सहितो धृतम् अभ्यगात्परया भक्त्या गत्वा राममथाब्रवीत् आगच्छ रामभद्रन्ते दिष्ट्या तेऽद्य समागमः प्रियातिथिर्मम प्राप्तोऽस्य अद्य मे सफलं दिनं रामोऽपि मुनिमायान्तं दृष्ट्वा हर्षसमाकुलः सीतया लक्ष्मणेनापि दण्डवत्पतितो भुवि धृतमुत्थाप्य मुनिराट् राममालिङ्घ्य भक्तितः तद्गात्रस्पर्शजाह्लाद स्रवन्नेत्रजलाकुलः गृहीत्वा करमेकेन करेण रघुनन्दनं जगाम स्वाश्रमं हृष्टो मनसा मुनिपुङ्गवः सुखोपविष्टं सम्पूज्य पूजया बहुविस्तरं भोजयित्वा यथा न्यायं भोज्यैर्वन्यैरनेकदा सुखोपविष्टमेकान्ते रामं शशिनिभाननं कृताञ्जलिरुवाचेदम् अगस्त्यो भगवान् ऋषिः त्वदागमनमेवाहं प्रतीक्षन् समवस्थितः यदा क्षीरसमुद्रान्ते ब्रह्मणा प्रार्थितः पुरा भूमेर्भारापनुत्यर्थं रावणस्य वधाय च तदादिदर्शनाकाङ्क्षी तव राम तपश्चरन् वसामि मुनिभिः सार्धं त्वामेव परिचिन्तयन् सृष्टेः प्रागेक एवासीर्निर्विकल्पोऽनुपाधिकः त्वदाश्रया त्वद्विषया मया ते शक्तिरुच्यते त्वामेव निर्गुणं शक्तिरावृणोति यदा तदा अव्याकृतमिति प्राहुः वेदान्तपरिनिष्ठिताः मूलप्रकृतिरित्येके प्राहुर्मायेति केचन अविद्या संस्मृतिर्बन्ध इत्यादि बहुधोच्यते त्वया संक्षोभ्यमाणा सा महत्तत्त्वं प्रसूयते महत्तत्त्वादहङ्कारः त्वया सञ्चोदितादभूत् अहङ्कारो महत्तत्त्व संवृतस्त्रिविबोधवत् सात्विको राजसश्चैव तामसश्चेति भण्यते तामसात् सूक्ष्मतन्मात्राण्यासन् भूतान्यतः परम् स्थूलानि क्रमशो राम क्रमोत्तरगुणानिह राजसानीन्द्रियाण्येव सात्विका देवता मनः तेभ्यो भवत्सूत्ररूपं लिङ्गं सर्वगतं महत् ततो विराट् समुत्पन्नः स्थूलाद्भूतकदम्बकात् विराजः पुरुषात् सर्वं जगत्स्थावरजङ्गमम् देवतिर्यं मनुष्याश्च कालकर्मक्रमेण तु त्वं रजोगुणतो ब्रह्मा जगतः सर्वकारणं सत्त्वाद्विष्णुस्त्वमेवास्य पालकः सद्भिरुच्यते लये रुद्रस्त्वमेवास्य त्वन्मायागुणभेदतः जाग्रत्स्वप्नः सुषुप्ताख्या वृत्तयो बुद्धिजैर्गुणैः तासां विलक्षणो राम त्वं साक्षी चिन्मयो व्ययः सृष्टिलीलां यदा कर्तुम् ईहसे रघुनन्दन अङ्गीकरोषि मायां त्वं तदा वै गुणवानिव राममाया द्विधा भाति विद्या विद्येति ते सदा प्रवृत्तिमार्गनिरता अविद्यावशवर्तिनः निवृत्तिमार्गनिरता वेदान्तार्थविचारकाः त्वद्भक्तिनिरता ये च ते वै विद्यामया स्मृताः अविद्यावशगा ये तु नित्यं संसारिणश्च ते विद्याभ्यासरता ये तु नित्यमुक्तास्तयेव हि लोके त्वद्भक्तिनिरताः त्वन्मन्त्रोपासकाश्च ये विद्या प्रादुर्भवेत्तेषां नेतरेषां कदाचन अतस्त्वद्भक्तिसम्पन्ना मुक्ता एव न संशयः त्वद्भक्त्यमृतहीनानां मोक्षस्वप्नेऽपि नो भवेत् किं राम बहुनोक्तेन सारं किञ्चित् ब्रवीमि ते साधुसङ्गतिरेवात्र मोक्षहेतुरुदाहृता साधवः समचित्ताये निःस्पृहा विगतैषिणः दान्ता प्रशान्तास्त्वद्भक्ता निवृत्ताखिलकामनाः इष्टप्राप्तिविपत्योश्च समासङ्गविवर्जिताः सन्न्यस्ताखिलकर्माणः सर्वदा ब्रह्मतत्पराः समाधिगुणसम्पन्नाः सन्तुष्टा येन केनचित् सत्सङ्गमो भवेद्यर्हि त्वत्कथाश्रवणे रतिः समुदेति ततो भक्तिः त्वयि राम सनातने त्वद्भक्ता उपपन्नायां विज्ञानं विपुलं स्फुटम् उदेति मुक्तिमार्गोऽयमाद्यश्चतुरसेवितः तस्माद्राघव सद्भक्तिः त्वयि मे प्रेमलक्षणा सदा भूयादरे सङ्गस्त्वद्भक्तेषु विशेषतः अद्य मे सफलं जन्म भवत्सन्दर्शनादभूत् अद्य मे क्रतवः सर्वे बभूवुः सफला प्रभो दीर्घकालं मया तप्तम् अनन्यमतिना तपः तस्येह तपसो राम फलं तव यदर्चनं सदा मे सीतया सार्धं हृदये वस राघव गच्छतस्तिष्ठतो वापि स्मृतिः स्यान्मे सदा त्वयि इति स्तुत्वा रमानाथम् अगस्त्यो मुनिसत्तमः ददौ चापं महेन्द्रेण रामार्थे स्थापितं पुरा अक्षय्यौ बाणतूणीरौ खड्गो रत्नविभूषितः जहि राघव भूभार भूतं राक्षसमण्डलं यदर्थमवतीर्णोऽसि मायया मनुजाकृतिः इतो योजनयुग्मे तु पुण्यकाननमण्डितः अस्ति पञ्चवटी नाम्नाश्रमो गौतमीतटे नेतव्यस्तत्र ते कालः शेषो रघुकुलोद्वः तत्रैव बहुकार्याणि देवानां कुरु सत्पते श्रुत्वा तदागस्त्य सुभाषितं वचः स्तोत्रं च तत्त्वार्थसमन्वितं विभुः मुनिं समाभाष्य मुदान्वितो ययौ प्रदर्शितं मार्गमशेषविद्धरिः इति श्रीमध्यात्मरामायणे उमामहेश्वरसंवादे अरण्यकाण्डे तृतीयः सर्गः।